Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, before I begin with this lesson, I want to start it off by giving all the glory and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings be to all the Akim now pushing this word in truth and sincerity, Shalom. This is going to be another lesson through the Rakakadash, and all the one right to side, this is edifying. All right, so I'm, in this lesson, called Yahweh Bahashim Shah 144, but in this lesson, basically what I'm going to be doing is just proving that, nuclear missiles are in the scriptures, man. All right, because, a couple months ago, or, this could have been a few years ago, you had some cats that basically came out with their own doctrine, pulled this doctrine out of their ass saying that nuclear missiles aren't in the Bible, man, right, which they are, in fact, in the Bible, man, right? The thing is that, the prophets of old, in the ancient world, they described the missiles that they saw in these visions, these simulations and these holograms to the best of their ability, man, right? Because back in that time, they didn't have the technology that you see today, and they damn sure didn't use the terminology that you have today by the so-called white man. They described it to the best of their ability, man. Stars, missiles, not missiles, slocky, but, arrows, the pestilence that flies by night, roughly paraphrasing the book of Psalms 91, right? The destroying winds, so on and so forth, man, right? And the Lord has raised those prophets back up in these latter days to break down those scriptures, man. All right, so the first scripture on the grab is the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter. All right, because people claim to believe in the end times, right? So if you claim to believe in the end times and you believe that we are living in the end times, wouldn't you believe a weapon that's used for mass destruction is written in the scriptures, man? Right, because it is, man. All right, but this is the book of Revelations 9. In verse 15, it says, "And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men." And that's exactly what those nuclear missiles are gonna do, man. Right, because you have about 300 million people alone here in America, that are getting ready to be wiped out, man. Right, excluding, the elect, man, because the elect are going to be the only ones that are delivered from the destruction of America, man. Right, then you got certain other parts of the world, like, the land of Israel today, that shit gonna get blown up by missiles, man. Right, you can have certain other parts of, you can have Russia, certain parts of Russia gonna be, getting hit. You can read that in Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, man. Right, because what the Lord said he was going to lead the sixth part of God, roughly paraphrasing, something to that effect, man. Right, and those four angels are speaking about 4 of the 7 of the archangels, man. You have Uriel, Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael the archangel, man, Michael Allah. Right, and the rest of the 3, they aren't listed, if I'm not mistaken. All right, verse 16, it says, "And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them." Right, and the horseman is speaking about those missiles because when John the Revelator saw this vision, right, back in the ancient world, the way they did war was, ground. It was like groundwork, man. Right, they had, the horsemen, they had, the ground troops, so on and so forth, man. Right, and when you watch these different movies that are based upon like medieval times and shit like that, you can see the horsemen, running over the horizon, man. It's a great army, right, and that's what John the Revelator described those 200 million missiles, like unto, man, so to speak, man, which is it's not going to literally be 200 missiles because, or 200 ICBM nuclear missiles whole alone, man, right? It's describing basically multiple warheads on each of those missiles, man, and which is going to equal up to 200 million missiles, all right? But that's what he's describing them as, and also horsemen are symbolic for power, man, right? And that's exactly what those nuclear missiles are, because if you know anything about the Satan missile, the Satan missile 2, that big-ass missile alone can destroy Texas alone, man. Right? Texas is what? The second biggest state in the United States next to Hawaii, man. Or not Hawaii, but Alaska, man. Right? That's some power, man. Right? But let's continue to read. Verse 17, and that says, And thus I saw the horses in the vision. Right? He got a vision, man. Right? And if you know anything about the prophets, the Lord said, whatever you see, and you write down, man, because all things that were written for our written aforetime for our learning, roughly paraphrasing. Slocky, I'm outside and getting, ate up by bugs and shit, man. All right, but it says, "And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone, and the heads of the horses, whereas the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone," which is describing that that warhead on them nukes, man. That very tip, because that's where the majority of the power in that nuclear missile is at, man. It's being held at, right? In the at the tip of it, man, where all the nuclear warheads are, right? And that breastplate is speaking about the the armor, so to speak, man. Because you can also read in the book of Psalms, it basically describes them as snares. And when you go into that word snare, the etymology, it means a plate of metal, right? And that's basically what nuclear missiles are made out of, man. Plate of metal, all right? And it says, as the heads of lions, and out of the mouths issue fire and smoke and brimstone. And what in today's modern day technology can cause that, man? Because nothing back then can do that, man. Right? This is speaking about a missile. It says, by these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, which issue out of their mouths, which is talking about the tip of that missile, man. Right? It says, and for their power is in their mouth and in their tails, right? Speaking about that propeller, man. Right there, that fire that basically directs them to go and hit their target, man. And by the smoke, it's like it. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt, and that's exactly what they're gonna do, man. All right, because those are the weapons of Yahweh Shem Yahshua's indignation, man. All right, so now let's also get Revelations, the 6th chapter. All right, because it's described in here as well. Revelation 6 and 12, it says, and I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth, right, which is speaking about nuclear missiles, right? And this is why John the Revelator described them as stars, man. Right, let's look up the, what was that shit called? Right, Iron Dome. Let's look at the Iron Dome defense system that Israel has, man. Right, and this is just, something to give you an image, man, of what John the Revelator was seeing, man. All right, as you see right here, this is why he described them as stars, man. Because back then, he wasn't gonna call a damn missile a missile, man. He was gonna describe it to what he thought it looked like, man. Which it looks like a damn star, man. Especially whenever they enter into the atmosphere. And as soon as they as soon as they land over their target, they drop, man. And they come down and they have that glare of fire around them. It causes them to look like a star, man, falling from the heavens. And as you see, this is what he's describing right here, man. Right now, of course, these aren't nuclear missiles, right? These are just regular, rockets and missiles or whatever you want to call them, to intercept other foreign missiles that are trying to damage the land, right? But you get the imagery, man. All right, so let's continue to read. And it says, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind, right? And when today's technology can cause something to shake with a mighty wind, man, a nuclear missile, because, I looked this up a while back, because I used to be fascinated by it, man, right, on the damage and the power that a nuclear missile has the capability of producing, man, right? Once they blow up and you see that shock wave, man, that shit'll blow a house straight off its foundations, man. That's what that mighty wind is speaking about, man. Right? It's also described, I think it's in the book of Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah said it's a destroying wind, man. All right, because that wind, that shit damn near has as much power as that fireball radius, man, just without the heat. All right, but let's continue to read. Verse 14, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And mountains and islands is speaking about, your bigger governments and your smaller governments, man. Right? And let's look this up. This is what he was describing. Missile. A missile mushroom cloud. It's lucky for the wind if that's just blowing, man. All right. But as you see, this is the heavens departing as a scroll, man. Right? This is exactly what John the Revelator was describing, man. All right. In that mighty wind, let's look up the shock wave. It's lucky. Damn. shockwave of a missile. I'll probably, pull up a GIF or something. That there ain't even any. Shit. It's all good. All right, but this is basically what he's describing, man. Right, when it's shaking of a mighty wind. All right, let's continue to read in verse 15. It says, "And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains." Right, and the reason that they're going to do that is because not only to escape the nuclear destruction, but also because Yahweh Shai gonna come back to give out smoke, so to speak, man. Right, and these elites, they know that, man. That's why they have, NASA set up the International Space Station, because they're watching to see when Yahweh Shai is gonna come back so they can run into them bunkers, man. Right, but even then, you got these people out here that's doomsday preppers. They're setting up and buying bunkers and shit to escape a nuclear apocalypse, so to speak, if that's the right term for it, man. All right. So let's get 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, and I always bring this out, man, when it comes into describing missiles, because Ezra, he hit it right on the nail, man. Right, it's plain and simple on how he described it, man. The shit even a 5-year-old could get it, bro. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 12. It says, "The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof." And why is the earth going to quake? Earth is going to quake because of the power that those nuclear missiles hold, man. Right, a nuclear missile alone, that shit'll shake the earth, man. You'll feel a nuclear missile, right, from hundreds of miles away, man. That's how much power they hold. So you can just imagine how much power, millions of them or hundreds of thousands of them are going to produce, man. Right, in Isaiah the 22nd chapter, or it might be 24, the Lord said that the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Why, man? Because of those missiles, they're going to be shot from different continents to another, man. Right, and that's going to cause earth to shake like a drunkard, man. All right. It says, "The sea rises up waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled." Why? And I use this analogy a lot. When you get a glass of water and you reel it to and fro and you rock it back and forth, what's going to cause it to do, man? It's going to cause that water that's in it to fuck around and seep out the top of the thing, man, the top of the glass. Right, so you can just imagine whenever the earth is shaking, how much tsunamis is going to be causing, big ass waves, all that. That's what it's describing. And it says, "And the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow." Right, and that bow is speaking about that nuclear arsenal, man. Right, that the elders always describe it, but I just call it a pocket. The pocket that the missiles are held in, man. All right, what is it? The silo, the nuclear silo. I think that's what it's called. Salaki if I'm wrong. Right, and it says, "His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world." And this itself proves that it's not speaking about a literal fucking arrow, man. Right, it's speaking about a nuclear missile, because when you look this up, a missile looks exactly like an arrow, man. That's what it resembles, man. And this is why Israel called it a arrow, man. Right, you see that? That don't look just like a damn arrow, man. Right, so the prophets, they saw these visions of missiles, man, in these latter days. All right, so you can't believe in the end times and believe that we're living in the end times, but don't believe that missiles are written in the scriptures, because they are, man. Right, and if you have the Wakakadash, man, the Holy Spirit, you'll be able to discern these things, so to speak, man. Right, which is the majority of people don't, man. All right, but verse 14, "Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth," which proves it's also speaking about missiles, because an arrow is not going to cause the foundations of the earth to burn with fire, man. All right. It says in verse 16, "Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe was me, woe was me, who would deliver me in those days?" Right, in Ezra's, if he just saw, arrows, little arrows, right, that have, fire on them, back in the ancient where they used to dip the arrows on fire and shoot them and shit. All right, if he saw that, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be like, woe was me, because that was some normal shit back then, man. No, man, he was seeing missiles, man. Right, that's why he said, woe was me, man. Right, because he saw the power that those missiles were holding, man. All right, and that shit was out of this world to him, man, when he saw that. All right, so let's also go to the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter, because Joel also saw these things, man. Right, and if you know about anything about Joel, He was going directly into the Third World War, man. All right, but this is the book of Joel 2:2. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like. Why? Because now in today's time, Yahweh Shema Shah has blessed these other nations, predominantly Esau, Edom, with the capability to produce nuclear missiles, man. Right? Because Isaiah 9:5 Isaiah 55:16, I think, the Lord said that he had created the smith that bloweth the coals. Right? Your modern day smiths are these scientists, man. These scientists that are putting together these missiles, man, that are coming up with ways on how to split an atom to cause that big ass explosion, man. All right. That's why they, have strength like never the like, man. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, right? Which is describing the missile, right? And when you go, you see that, man? That's what it's describing, man. That fire that's behind it, man, that's God in that missile. That's what he's describing, man. That's that fire that devoureth before them, all right? Slakia. It says, and behind them a flame burneth, right? Which is what I just, brought up. The land is the Garden of Eden before them, right? Which is now, man, right? Because if I was to pull up a picture, in this view that I'm, seeing right now, man, at this little site, it's like the Garden of Eden, man. It's all greenish. You got the lake, people doing their own thing, enjoying life, so to speak, right? And you got these other countries, especially, I remember the elder Amawang Gabar out there in New York. He did this lesson speaking about, as beautiful as it is, it will soon burn, man. All right, he basically showed this site that he was at. It was beautiful as hell. It was all extra green and shit, had mountains in the background and all that, man. Right, but it's gonna burn eventually, man. Right, that's that Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. Why? Because when those missiles are shot over here, hey, that shit's not gonna. Hey, the scripture says that it should not leave root nor branch, man. There ain't gonna be shit left here, man. Everything is literally gonna be turned into dust, man, because of those nuclear missiles, man. All right. It says the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, right? Which is, power, man. And horsemen, right? Which is also described in the book of Revelations, the 9th chapter, man. Right? So shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. Because those missiles, the missiles are loud as hell, man. All right. If you was to hear a missile pass by you, you get scared, man. All right. And especially whenever they blow up, man. All right, that shit gonna be extra loud, man. Right? It says like the noise of a flame of fire that devoured the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness, because when people start seeing these missiles fly off, hey, they gonna be scared shitless, man. And you can just only imagine the energy and the sight, of seeing those missiles, man. That shit gonna be crazy as hell, man. That's why people, when they start seeing them, like you see in these movies, they gonna start hugging each other, right? Start, telling each other that they love each other and all that, man. Right? Because they know once the missiles are shot off, hey, they done with, man. All right? They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks, right? Meaning, hey, ain't no escaping those missiles, man. No matter where you try to hide, guess what? That missile gonna get your ass, man. Right? Because that heat is like nothing else, man. I remember it's this, I broke this down, not broke this down, but I actually brought this up a couple of times, man. Right? It's this one Jake, that I'm cool with in the world. I posted Russia's Satan missile 2. How it can get from Moscow, Russia to New York City within 15 minutes. And dude was talking about we need to prepare. Well, how the hell else you gonna prepare other than getting right with your Yahweh Shema Shah, man? All right. Show you, Jake is simple-minded and carnal as hell, man. All right, but let's continue to read. It says, verse 8, neither shall one thrust another, meaning they're not going to malfunction, run into each other, none of that, man. They shall walk everyone into his path, right? They're going to reach their designation, man. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded, meaning you ain't got any particular missile defense system that can stop them, man. Like what you see out there going on in, Israel and Gaza. Had Gaza shooting missiles and rockets on Israel, and they Iron Dome defense system, is knocking the missiles out. Ain't gonna be none of that shit over here, man. All right, they got hypersonic missiles that you absolutely cannot defend yourself against, man. All right, but Verse 9, it says, they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter into the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heaven shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. Why? Because of that smoke, man. All right. And the stars shall withdraw their shining. All right. Verse 11, it says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong to execute his word, for the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? Therefore also now saith the Lord Yahweh, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. All right, now it's pretty much, the point of this lesson, man. Right, nuclear missiles are very well described in the Bible, man, whether you believe it or not. Right, and if this lesson ain't prove it, then, hey, the Lord just basically blinded you so that you couldn't see it, man. All right, but with that being said, I don't want to Ratazah. This was edifying. Before I close out, I want to say, call Lord Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings be to all the Akim, now pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom and Abba.